So what else could we do? Okay, another thing that I would probably set up is some extra auxiliary channels as effects. Now, one thing that would be quite useful to have to hand if we felt we needed it would be some kind of delay or echo that we could send certain sounds to. So the way I'm going to do this, let's come to the ES2 synth for the time being. Okay, let's go with the kalimba sound, I don't know. And so let's set up a new bus. We'll go bus 4. And let's name this, I'm going to call it delay 1 because I think it might be an idea to set up a couple of different delays. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an EQ, and the main reason for this is because I want to take out some of the lows, because one of the most important things when mixing is to make sure that you don't get too much build up of low frequency information, because this is one way that you will very quickly eat up headroom in your mix and make everything muddy. So I would almost always do this on most of my channels, except the dedicated bass sounds and kick. What I'm going to do as well, let's set up another one on bus 5, and we'll call this delay 2. Now why would you set up 2 different delays? Well, it might be quite nice to have one sound being sent to a delay with, let's say, quarter notes, and then another one with eighth notes or 8-note triplets. So we could use several things here. We could use delay designer, we could use the echo. Personally, I like the tape delay, so I'm going to use that. Now we could also use it to kind of give us a slapback kind of delay as well. That might be quite nice for some sounds. Let me just solo this kalimba, and I suppose I'll tell you what, I will copy the regions from our I'll copy the regions from our bass line. I don't know what that's going to sound like. Not too good. Anyway, so let's dial in a bit of send to the first delay. That's quite nice there. I might try a little slapback delay, and the way that I would do this is to come to this sync button here, and we'll unsync it so that now we can manually adjust the tempo, and if we push this up we can get some quite, well, you'll hear what happens. I quite like that there, so I'm going to use that. Now if there's something that you particularly use a lot, like an 8th note dotted, or some kind of delay that you particularly like, you could set this up in your template. I mean, we can always come back to this and adjust them at any time we like. It's quite nice to have them set up. So because I've done quite a short delay on that one, let's make the second one a longer delay. So maybe that's a bit too long. Okay, that's sounding awful. Never mind. So there we go. We've got some delays set up, and what we could do, we don't have to, we can sort of remove these sends. We can open up this ES2 and we can return it to default. So we've got the delays there ready to go if we need them. Now the other thing I tend to do with a lot of my synth sounds and bass sounds and things like that, and often other elements within a track as well, is I will have effects channels on a send. So what I'm going to do, if I come over to this Alchemy channel, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up another send, and what I'll do, I'm going to set up 2. So actually let's do that now. Let's go bus 7 as well. And quite often I will do this, I will set up 2 effects channels, and I'll pan one hard left and one hard right. So let's do that. Again, if we need to change it after the fact, we can do that. So let's call this effects left, and this one effects right. And there's quite a few things that I like to do with my sort of effects channels. The first thing, again, as you may have guessed, is cut out the low frequencies, and I quite often would maybe low cut quite high on this, so we're just affecting the higher frequencies. So I'm going to leave this somewhere around 500 hertz. Maybe we'll just put a little bit of a boost on the high shelf. Okay, sorry, I just had my headphones on the wrong way around and thought that I'd panned that to the wrong side. Okay. Okay, I'm going to leave that something like that. And okay, quickly we'll do a similar thing with the other one. Maybe this time I'll leave a little bit more of the low frequencies in, not too much of the extreme lows. And maybe we'll make this a more mid-rangey sound, cut out some of the highs as well. Okay, so what kind of processing can we put on these to give us some interesting effects to send our bass sounds or synth sounds to? Now there's a few things I like to do. One of those would be to use, if we come down to our modulation menu, is the modulation delay. This is one of my favorite things to use. So let's get the loop playing. Okay, maybe something like that. I'll tell you what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to add some distortion. So let's stick with the bit crusher. Maybe we can get a bit playful with this and use the down sampling to make it sound a little bit weird. Let's put that before the modulation delay. And what I'm going to do now is put, let's compress this as well. Okay, and now let's come over to our right effects and we'll do some stuff with that. What I'm going to do with this, first off I'm going to add a sample delay. If there was no pan on that at all, how I'd do that is I would delay one side and keep the other side. Actually, because we're on a send, yeah, let's just focus on this one on its own for a minute. Let's forget about that one. Because we're sending this to an auxiliary channel, what I could do is I could delay both channels. We're still getting the dry signal, so we're delaying the effects chain. So that can be quite a nice way to add a bit of depth and dimension to a sound. Do you know what? It's not really working for me with this sound. Let me find a different sound. Okay, I quite like that. I want to see what that sounds like in a lower transposition. Okay, we've got some effects going on here. I quite like the sound. Let me come to the effects. I believe we've got a delay. Yes, we have. So I want to turn. I'm going to turn that delay off, and I'm going to turn that reverb off. Okay, so we've got a much drier sound now. So let's listen. We can hear hopefully much more clearly what we're doing with our effects processing. So I just want to hear how that's working with the left effects. Okay, another thing I like to use when modulating sound and making effects is this ring shifter. Oh. Okay, why? Okay, my computer is not liking that for some reason. Let's close that down. Let's open this up again. That's better. Okay. Now, I particularly like the delay on this, and I like to keep quite a short delay time. put the level up. Okay, that's nice. Let's we need to bring that sound out a little bit. Let's put a bit crush on it again. And now we can send these effects to, let's say, the large reverb. Okay, I'm not liking this sound at all. Let's get rid of the bit crusher because okay. Okay, this isn't really working for me. Let's try something else. Sorry, I didn't actually want to pick that one. Let's go to, sorry, this filter bank. Okay, that to my eyes is sounding better. So really I'm messing about making a tune now rather than setting up a template. But what I will do is once we've set up these effects, I will delete all of our pattern and all of our presets, and then once we've saved the template we'll come back to this, we'll load up some new sounds and we'll see how these effects channels can hopefully help enhance the sound. It may make them worse. We will find out. Okay, now we could send these to our delays as well. Let's send it to delay 1. Let's try delay 2 as well. Okay, so let me just, if we delete, if we mute these two effects channels, that's our dry sound. And now with the effects, So obviously we could do a multitude of things here, and what we do for one sound may not work for another sound. But if you want to add some effect sends to a template, so that when you're starting out you can send these sounds, synth sounds and bass sounds, whatever you're working with, or atmospherics and anything else that you're doing, you can send these sounds to your template effects channels and see if they're enhancing the sound at all, and you can always tweak them from there. So that's that. Is there anything else I might do? I think that's pretty much everything that I would do for a template, and we've gone quite involved with this. So what I'm going to do, if I delete everything that we've got here, and I'm going to, let's come back to Alchemy, and I'm going to set that back to the default. And again with the ES2, let me call this, we'll do a bit more, housekeeping. We'll call this synth 1 and synth 2, and I think that should be, that's already on the default. Okay, so we've got all our processing set up. We've got our drums outputted to different auxiliary channels with effects on. We have a parallel drum compression set up. We've got a small and large reverb. We've got a side chain set up for the kick if we need to use it. We've got 2 delay channels, and we've got 2 effects channels as well. And so let's say we're happy with this as our template. Obviously we could make a much simpler version if we wanted. We could not have any of this routing to buses. We could delete all of these. We could remove all of the EQs and compression and everything else that we've added. But let's say this is the template and we're happy with this. How do we save it as a template? Well, this is the easy bit. If we come to File and then Save as Template, and we'll call this, shall we call this, I don't know, EDM template. That'll do.